just have to acknowledge that everything you're doing is not for your glory, but basically what admire the glory means for the glory of God. The things you're doing are there to glorify His name and not you.
You realize that it's not only you. Somehow it feels like you were everything was fashioned for this.
Yeah.
And you feel thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Before the bar results came out, I was abroad. I went to every church that I could. I visited. I prayed at every church I could. Did that here too. So, I mean, again, if it's admirable divine, it's more just knowing that it's beyond you.
So how did you guys feel when you passed the exam and found out that you are the top, the number one?
Chronological.
I was preparing myself by using fermented liquor. So I felt really happy, but I really didn't expect it. So I made that was really happy about it.
I finished shopping in Greenbelt. Tapos, I was gonna go to Ateneo to attend mass. Kasi pagkakalam namin, mga
One page
yeah. So parang at least I get to go to mass before the results came out. I was pulling out of the parking, tapos tumawag yung pinsan ko. So, congrats! Like, okay, pero huwag mo muna sabihin bakit. Sige, pero top 1 ka. So, tapos while driving sa may Paseo, tumawag yung isa ko pang friend, si Aldo. So, May, congrats, top 1 ka raw. Tapos sinabi niya sa akin yung score ko. So parang okay, so baka totoo yun. Tapos after nun, tumawag yung GMA7 asking for an interview. So,
how was the exam for you guys? I mean, can you describe your experience?
Different.
I'll go first. Mahirap, ours was long and hard.
Yeah.
Just how you like it.
That was
60% multiple choice, then 40% essay. Tapos, you'd expect na 60 questions sa multiple choice. Pero in fact, it was 100 questions multiple choice. And then they told us 10 items, pero in actuality, it was like
sub-items.
Yeah, sub-items. Umabot ng 30 questions. So, ang dami mong kailangan sagutin within 4 hours. So, nakapagod.
Okay, so our year was the first time we started tinkering with the test type. Before our year, everything was always purely essay. Or basically ask anything you want, it's mostly essay. So our year was the complete opposite of theirs, it was all multiple choice, so we didn't know what was coming up.
For me, I was lucky that the year I took the bar, that was the last time that they had the traditional type as anthem. You know, almost ask everything you want, but people prefer to say because that's easier to make, harder to check, but yeah, the questions are, I mean, and the students, after 4 years of law school, that's all you do, answer exams and essays. So,
maybe there's a possibility of partial points.
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
Because if you get an item wrong, it's gone.
At least,
Did you always knew that you wanted to take law after?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I didn't know what else to do. Kasi parang ever since I was a kid, ingrained na okay, maging lawyer, professional.
I'm the first lawyer in the family, so the parents would always say that it would be useful to have a lawyer in the family, so to have a family business, but there was really no actual pressure or like a mandate that you should take up law. I guess it's more influenced by the fact that I was always involved in student council, student legislation, policy making, or like, involved with administration, with the school administration and different committees. So yeah, I mean, lawmaking, government. Those are the things I was interested in. So I guess it just seemed natural, or it seemed interesting for me to take up law after.
For me, my dad kept asking me to take up law. He's a lawyer, and like Mickey, I think you're.
Yeah, my dad's a lawyer also.
So family of lawyers. Right after grad, I took up law.
I did too, but I chose to work. I went to a week of UP law.
Oh.
I had already enrolled in UP law, and then I decided. But yeah, as I said, everybody seemed to be working and getting their experience in the corporate world. So I was like, I was a management grad, so it wasn't strictly pre-law. So I thought, well, might as well try it first. So withdrew from UP, worked for a year, and then decided to go back to law the next year. That's why I'm a year behind Ari.
Me naman, after graduation, I went to China to study Chinese and to find myself.
May gap year ka.
So I stayed there for 1 year. When I came back, enrollment was already done, and they don't allow mid-semester enrollments in Ateneo.
Yeah, sure, yeah, I was trying to get him to come back earlier though.
Yeah.
He was going back July, I think.
So I came back July, so I had 11 more months to just bum around. So I helped with the Ateneo football team.
Can you describe your law school experience here in Ateneo?
I mean, well, we've been classmates since high school, but I guess it's just more of never studied as hard as I did here. Seriously, Ari would just sleep in class and back in high school. Possibly college, she'd sleep in class. But dito nakita ko siya nag-aaral ng konti.
Nag-aaral ng konti.
Ng konti.
Marami.
High school hindi siya nag-aaral, kahit grade school hindi siya nag-aaral. Tapos palagi siyang top.
Yeah, so I assume na nag-aaral si Ari ng konti.
Wala na.
Kailangan mag-aaral ako ng madami.
Ako doble.
Thanks, guys.
What was the most challenging about law school?
For me, balancing it with the other things that you have to do outside of school. Kasi the studies, you just have to study. You'll get to understand the laws and the cases that you have to read. But I mean, it shouldn't be just your life. You have to balance it out.
The hardest thing was I decided to focus on my studies exclusively when I was in law school, because back in college I was heavily involved in student council. And I will admit that I did sacrifice my ACADS in favor of the student council, which I totally enjoyed. So I decided to do the complete opposite here. And yeah, I mean, because if you wanted to do well in law school, you just had to study harder than you've ever done before, and it wasn't something I was used to doing, studying a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the hardest thing here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a balance of studies versus your life outside law school. Kasi, like college, high school, you're used to going to spontaneous gimmicks, watching movies every Wednesday if I'm out.
Yeah.
So,
Metro East.
yeah, Metro East. Good part.
I mean, the fulfilling part about being a law school student.
About being for me, it's helping other people. Because I would make a lot of reviewers for me, just to like consolidate everything that I read. Then I'd pass it around, and then people would tell me, "Hey, we used to reviewer."
Yes, and to be
help."
fair, his reviewers were really well known. Even in one batch, I had a lot of people used his tax reviewers to review for the tax bar exams. So I mean, that's how well known Mickey's reviewers.
There are things more than what I've asked for. So, well, that's going. They say that you realize that it's not only you. Somehow it feels like you were. Everything was fashioned for this. And you feel thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And going forward, knowing that you've been blessed with so much, and you have to be somehow relevant.
I did not think at all that I would achieve this much. So that I knew that everything was up to people, someone up there who would make things possible. If you're a lawyer, if you have the legal skills, there are a lot of problems you can help people solve. And I think that's the way you use your legal knowledge and the way you do it excellently, do it the best way you can, you will end up doing what the Jesuits, what the Ateneo wants you to do.
To embody Admire and Gloria, of course you have to acknowledge first that it's not your victory. It's actually a grace from God that you got these skills and you got to do well in something that's quite difficult to do well at. And then you just have to acknowledge that everything you're doing is not for your glory, but basically what Admire and Gloria means, for the glory of God. The things you're doing are there to glorify His name and not you. For man, women, for others. I mean, like Anne said, the law profession is a profession of service. For others, doesn't mean that. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to serve the poor. I mean, it's not necessarily just poor-oriented. You have to serve other people as well.